Hi everyone, and welcome to this episode of my Saturn series. I'm going to be talking about what it means if you or someone that you know has Saturn in your seventh house. So I'm going to be talking about like what some of the challenges, difficulties with that might be, as well as like some of the strengths and the really good qualities of that placement as well. So what does Saturn in the birth chart mean? Well, Saturn is father time. It is the boundary, the limitation. Um, Obviously, so it's about restriction and overcoming obstacles. Essentially, well, Saturn, to get the best out of Saturn, it's really about overcoming hardship and obstacles and learning and growing from that. So Saturn makes us work hard to reap the rewards and benefits of it. So that's going to look different depending on where it is in your birth chart. But Saturn is all about that boundary, restriction, time. You can go a lot deeper, more esoteric about Saturn, but to understand what it means in the birth chart, yeah. So you take those themes, and you're like, okay, so what does that mean if you have Saturn in a certain place? Well, you're going to potentially have a block on that energy, not completely, not like you completely cannot access it, but it's going to be more difficult for you. It's not going to come easy to you. You're going to find yourself being very, very serious about that aspect of your life in order to get stuff done, make stuff happen. Like stuff that comes more naturally and easy to other people might not happen for you if you have Saturn involved in this certain aspect of your life. So it'll make you work a lot harder and fight a lot more and develop a lot of really good skills and developmental kind of stuff in the process. So, seventh house. What is the seventh house? Well, the seventh house is the house of partnerships. Typically, this generally represents romantic partnerships, marriage, but also any kind of connection you have with other people, friends, business partners, and one-on-one connections. So it's the house of the other as well. You know, the first house, seventh house axis. This is what we're dealing with here. So first house is the house of the self. You know, the first house. You know, like the motto is, it's like I am. You know, so seventh house is I am not. Seventh house is you are. You know, so this is the house of the non-self. Most most strongly associated with the romantic partner, but like I'm saying, not limited to that. This is an angular house as well, one of the angular houses. So you got first house, fourth house, seventh house, and 10th house. Saturn tends to hit a bit harder when it's in an angular house. I mean, it always hits hard, right? Like it's difficult. Like Saturn is a difficult energy. Nobody can escape it. We all have Saturn in our birth chart somewhere, can't escape it. But when it's in an angular house, like it does pack a bit more kind of difficult energy, and I can do. I have Saturn in an angular house as well. I've got it in the fourth. Saturn conjunct my, anyway, I'm not gonna get sidetracked with that, but so we know what Saturn is. We've got a quick rundown on that and the seventh house. So what is Saturn in the seventh house? Well, you're taking Saturn, which is, restriction, time, boundary, tough lessons, overcoming obstacles, and we're putting that in the house of other people, the other. So you are going to probably be invested in, desire, you want serious long-term commitment, because Saturn is associated with longevity, time, responsibility, and duty. So you might be like, yeah, I really, really want someone to be with long time, and that you won't necessarily get that easily. That because although Saturn makes you really serious about this, makes you want this, Saturn also makes it hard to access it. So you might be sitting there thinking like, God, I really, really wish I was in a serious long-term committed relationship, but with Saturn in the seventh, it's going to make that more difficult for you, and it's not necessarily going to come that easily or quickly to you in life. But when it does, you're probably good. Like when you do get that, you probably are good. because like I'm saying, Saturn is longevity, time, so it could take a long time to get this, but when you do have it, you should be pretty you're a lot more likely to keep that connection than a lot of other people would be. And a big part of that is because you're very responsible and serious and committed about it. You know, Saturn is like, you're going to put in the hard work, like you're serious about this. Saturn in the seventh house, so you understand that for a long-term relationship, it's like you have to put in the hard work and expect that the other person has to put in the hard work as well. Because Saturn, so seventh house is it is our experience of relationships of all kinds. Um, it's also how other people, or how we perceive other people to show up in our life. So it's kind of the qualities that we have in the seventh that we bring out, but it's also the way that we perceive them to be. So while you might be very serious and committed, your partner is likely to be that way as well, because the seventh house represents the other. So Saturn in the seventh house, you're like, yeah, I'm serious about this, and so are they. So Saturn in the seventh house, although it can make it difficult to access this energy, like I'm saying, it is a blessing as well at the same time. But yeah, tough lessons in order to get to that space, and this is Saturn's theme. This is how Saturn always is. It's like, in order to get to the good stuff, that good character qualities that you can build and you can achieve, that can help you be strong and achieve things that you want, you have to work really hard for it. So there's a lot that you have to overcome here. So you could be you could find other people difficult. They could find you difficult, because seventh house, this is associated with the sign of Libra, the scales. It's about, Libra is very political, harmonious, and ruled by Venus, wants things to be nice. The seventh house is intrinsically attached to these qualities. So with Saturn in the seventh house, the house of balance, harmony with other people, there might not be that much, or you might find them overbearing, difficult. They might find you that way. So it's kind of hard for you sometimes, maybe early in life, to reach this kind of stage where like things are a lot more relaxed and equal and easygoing. Like I'm saying, it's not like you can't get that, but you have to work hard at it. So you could be learning a lot about yourself and introspection and self-inquiry with yourself. Like, like if I'm struggling with my relationships, romantic, platonic, whatever, you'd be like, well, why is that? Is it something they're doing? Maybe is it something that I'm doing potentially as well? So with Saturn in the seventh house, I would say check in on yourself, and be like, am I, because you could come across in a Saturnian way to other people. You could come across quite harsh, quite unforgiving, perhaps, just like you might perceive other people being that way with you. But not necessarily, though. Again, this is all, it could be changed a lot depending on the sign that Saturn is in, the sign on the cusp of your seventh house, any other planets that you have, aspects that Saturn makes, other stuff that's going on in your chart. So this is just a general Saturn in the seventh house. So there's a lot more that could color the energy here. Could well be a fear of loneliness and a desire and a feeling, like I've mentioned earlier, like you have to be with someone, and you might feel that more than other people. So that could be quite difficult for you. Some people might not feel that so much, but I would say it's not necessarily always the case. I would say it's like you could really want to be in this committed relationship, but it's just not happening, or you could have that opportunity, but you really, really don't want it. So whether it comes from you or comes from other people, there's Saturn is kind of blocking that energy a little bit. So it could well be you got a fear of loneliness and you really want to be with someone, you can't, or they want to be with you but you don't want to, cause there could be all sorts of reasons why you wouldn't want to, just a feeling of like you just don't want to. So fear perhaps, and could be too much of a feeling of responsibility as well. Like these are things that might stop you. Um, but yeah, I would say Saturn in the seventh house as well. Developing patience with other people. Seventh house being the house of other people. Saturn being about long term vision, responsibility, and putting in the work and being patient. So yeah, developing that patience with other people across the board, you know, and with Saturn in the seventh house as well, you could end up with someone who's older than you, because Saturn is associated with like more old age. So if you got Saturn in the seventh house, they could be a wee bit older than you. Not necessarily, but that could be a possible theme here. And yeah, I think learning a lot about like there's not really an instant gratification here. You might want that, but Saturn, you know, like it really slows down, really slows down like any aspect in life of your birth chart that it's in. Like it makes it harder to access that, and it makes it a lot more slow. Um, but yeah, a big sense of yeah, duty as well that you could already have. You're likely to already have it. Um, Duty toward other people. If not, you will probably develop that. And just again, yeah, really to summarize, like that's kind of about it. Really, just like you can find it difficult. Interpersonal communication can be difficult. You might find other people difficult. They might find you difficult. You might really want like good friends, romantic partnership, good connection with business partners and stuff like that. But it's difficult. But you're learning all about people. You're learning about them, and they're learning about you too. But through you learning and developing skills of patience and responsibility, and learning to understand how to connect to other people more, you're going to end up having really great qualities that are going to make people really like you a lot, and it's going to really help you with your connections with other people of all kinds. And like I'm saying, one of the really great qualities here that you could develop is like just knowing that, yeah, like having that long-term vision with people, romantic partnership, friendships, anything, even family members, being like yeah, just like having that long-term vision. So stability and longevity with your uh, romantic relationships, friendships, and everything. And this is what is waiting for you if you develop the skills that Saturn is wanting you to develop. But yeah, so that's about it for this video. If you liked it, please leave a like, please leave a comment, hit the bell icon. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.